about it in a concept of the Nikan Wellness Home, and specifically why, at least in my opinion, I think my opinion is that we all need one. Everyone needs one. So I'm going to present some really simple concepts here, and they're pretty much common sense. So let's get started. What's our biggest health challenge? You know, we've been through a couple years of COVID epidemic here, pandemic, if you will, but our biggest health challenge globally is chronic diseases. And I'm sure every one of us on this call this evening has either experienced chronic issues, either personally, with family members, or with friends. And it is pervasive globally. In fact, if we look at some of the statistics, over 50% of adults have at least one chronic condition, and 25% have two or more. And get this, by the time we're age 65, 80% of adults have at least one chronic disease. Chronic diseases are responsible for 7 out of 10 deaths globally each year, and treating and managing these chronic disease accounts for nearly 90% of our healthcare dollars. So how do we treat with it? Usually pharmaceutical intervention. And these are some dated figures. The last figure I saw, at least in the US here, were 5.7 billion prescriptions filled each year. And this increases as we age, and it increases throughout society as well. So what if, just kind of dream with me here for a minute. So what if we could change this? You know, what if we could change these statistics? And I think prevention is the key, because the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control say that over 80% of chronic issues are preventable. So what if we could change this to where only 1 out of 10 adults had a chronic condition? By age 65, only 20% of adults had these. And what if chronic disease was only responsible for 10% of deaths each year? And what if we spent 90% of our healthcare dollar on prevention as opposed to treatment? Wouldn't that be great? I think you'd all agree with me. Shake your heads. Absolutely, that would be great. We'd all be healthier. It'd be a much better world. So the key is prevention. And so first, before we talk about prevention, I think we need to identify what the causative factors for these chronic issues we're talking about are. So you can lump these into, and this is information from the World Health Organization, into two major categories. Those that are non-modifiable factors, such as our heredity and our age, and modifiable factors, which include, and if we look at, here's a statement directly from the World Health Organization, chronic diseases are primarily environmental. In other words, not genetic in origin. So that is, to me, what that says to me as a physiologist, that is really good news, because we can change this. We can change it. So if we look at it, what is a major cause of these modifiable factors? There's obviously some lifestyle choices, such as tobacco use, an unhealthy diet, poor sleep quality, dehydration, just not drinking enough water, and no physical activity or physical inactivity. And if we look at the other things, the ones I really want to point attention to is environmental toxins, which creates a body burden of toxic chemicals in our body, which many chronic diseases have been associated with. So each week, my esteemed colleagues very professionally present these 5 vital elements that we address in the wellness home. And I mean, vital is that we cannot survive without them. And so to name them, they are air. We all need to breathe. We breathe about 23,000 times a day. We need water. We need to stay hydrated. We need to sleep. We need to rest. We need to recover each night. We need to feed those, 50 trillion cells in our body with food, with nutrition. And we need the natural energies of the sun and the earth. Now, I'm going to ask a question. Currently, are these vital elements in a healthy condition, the way nature intended for us? I'd have to say we all agree they aren't, and I see people shaking their heads. They are not. They are far removed from the way nature intended them to be. So maybe within these 5 vital elements, the way they currently exist, they are the contributing factors to chronic disease. So let's take a look at each of these individually. And let's start with our most vital element, which is air. Air pollution has been said to be the 4th highest risk factor for death globally. What I really want to point attention to is pollutants can be 5 times higher indoors than outdoors, even in the most polluted cities. And 50% and 90% of our time is spent indoors. And who spends the most time indoors? The very young, the very old, the sick, or the infirmed, usually in a environment that is not very healthy when it comes to the terms, when it comes to air quality. So we have a solution for that. So throughout this presentation tonight, I'm going to show problems and solutions, and how the wellness home is a solution for each of those. So the solution for indoor air quality is the KENKO air purifier. This is a fabulous, fabulous air cleaning system. It also conditions the air. It uses a HEPA filter, takes out 99.3% of all particulates and contaminants. It also infuses negative ions into the air to replicate the way air is in nature, let's say by a waterfall or by the beach or in the forest. In fact, the Japanese refer to this as Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, for healthy air. So that's a solution to increase or improve the quality of air indoors in the wellness home. Let's start with water. Now, most of us just plain don't drink enough water. And I used to say this to my children: water's not just a beverage choice, kids. It's an essential nutrient. And so it's, rather than choosing something else to drink, which many people do, which often is dehydrating, we don't get enough water. 75% of us walk around chronically dehydrated every day. And here's a quote that I repeat often, is that dehydration is the mother of all epidemics, and the first step we need to take in addressing chronic disease. I recommend drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day. All right, so if you weigh 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces of water. And our body craves the healthiest water possible. And I think that we all would want the healthiest water possible. So failure to drink enough water also causes lots of different chronic issues. Fatigue, just being tired during the day, joint issues, weight gain. Many times we are thirsty and not hungry, but we grab that snack assuming that we're hungry when actually we're dehydrated. It can cause headaches, ulcers, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, just to name a few of these chronic issues due to dehydration. So we want the healthiest water possible. So what if Mother Nature could pour you a glass of water? And that's what the NECEN PIMAG waterfall represents in the NECEN Wellness Home. My dad spent his whole life in the water quality industry. And when I introduced him to the waterfall, to NECEN's solution for healthy water, here's what he said to me. He said, Gary, he said, this is what we've always wanted within our industry. Something to take all the harmful things out, but then put back the beneficial things that we want in water. And that's exactly what this system does. So we want healthy water in our home, all right? And not only just to drink, but also we use it for cooking. We use it to rinse vegetables with. They last twice as long in your refrigerator when you rinse them with NECEN water, with the PIMAG water. For water on the go, we have a sport bottle, and water and healthy water to bathe in with our shower systems. And you have a choice there of either a wall mount or a handheld mount, a handheld unit. Sleep. Many times our perception of sleep is as an unproductive part of the day, all right? An unproductive time, when actually physiologically it is extremely productive. That's when our body renews. It's when it repairs. It's when we store memories. It's when it detoxifies itself. And the average adult, just in the US, averages 6.5 hours of sleep a night. And that's a full hour less than, say, 40 years ago. So can that take its toll on your health? Absolutely. Sleeping less than 8 hours per night has been associated to many health risks: diabetes, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, stroke, obesity, cancer, just to name a few. So we want to get a great night's sleep. The solution in the NECA Wellness Home is the NATUREST sleep system. Now, I've been sleeping on this system for as long as I've been involved with NECA, which is about 25 years. And my sleep patterns used to be, I'd go to bed, I would be very awake and thinking about everything that's went on during the day, what everything else I needed to do tomorrow. It would take me a long time to fall asleep. Once I fell asleep, I'd wake up about 2 hours later, look at the clock, go back to sleep, wake up, look at the clock. Maybe some of you can relate to this. For me, I just thought, well, gosh, maybe that's just my natural adult sleep pattern, until I was introduced to this system. So this system is designed around the physiology of sleep to give us the best night's sleep. So I go to bed, I'm relaxed, I fall asleep quickly, I hardly move during the night, I wake up refreshed, and it kind of reminds me of the sleep you got when you were a kid. In other words, just sleeping great all night and hopping out of bed. And for me, it kind of reminds me when I was a teenager and I'd hop out of bed and couldn't wait to get out on the baseball field. So it's a great night's sleep. I've seen it help not only myself, but many, many others in my my tenure with NECA, if you will. And again, it's designed around physiology of sleep. And I'll do a little promo for next week. We'll be talking about sleep matters next week, Ruben, and we'll talk more in depth on how this system gives everybody a great night's sleep. So food, I mean, here's something we make a choice for every day. And it can be a good choice or it could be a bad choice. And many times it's not the healthiest choice. Too much fast food, too much sugar added to food, too much processed food. And are we actually getting the nutrients that our body needs to nourish those cells? And here's just a couple of statistics here. You know, only 1 in 10 Americans get enough fruit and vegetables in their diet, and that's adults. 60% of kids don't get enough fruit complements, and 93% of children don't eat enough vegetables each day. Now, can that affect our health? Absolutely, absolutely it can. We need a healthy diet. And the way to help with that in the NECA Wellness Home is with whole food nutrition. We call it KENZEN whole food nutrition. I featured 3 of our products here, and they're ones that we use daily here in our wellness home. And that's the KENZEN Vital Balance Protein Shake to give us our protein complement on a daily basis. Also is great in the morning for waking you up and getting you going with medium chain triglycerides that just get your body up and running and going. It's I've never been a coffee drinker, but I love the KENZEN Vital Balance because it's just that extra little boost in the morning, plus great nutrition. Also the Jade Greenzymes, which comes in its original taste, which tastes like grass. I love the original taste, but we also have a new and improved one that has a citrus flavor. So you have a choice there. This gives you your vegetable complement on a daily basis, you or your children. And then we have the Super C Aga that is chock full of antioxidants and fruits that gives you that fruit complement throughout the day, and what they call really superfoods. So it's excellent base nutrition for you and your family in your NECA Wellness Home. So let's talk about energy. Again, it is vital to get the energy of the sun and the earth. Our cells, our bodies, we can't survive without it. All right. But here's the issue. We live in a world of electronic smog. I mean, just think about it. Cell phones, laptops, TVs, Wi-Fi, everywhere you go, 5G. And we need to aid our bodies in dealing with this technological smog so we have these natural energies available to us. Now, this comes about when we can wellness home with our energy products. And I've shown a picture here of a host of different products which we can ground with. We can get the energies and the magnetic energy of the earth. We can get far infrared energy from the sun in these products. And these are products that basically Heather and I and the kids in our wellness home use on a daily basis. And we actually use all of them on a daily basis. So this creates a healthy balance, a KENKO balance. I might also add too that the energy products many times with NIKEN are kind of like our first aid kit. If we have a little boo-boo or an owie, they're great for prevention, but they're also great for a little boo-boo or owie to help you feel better. So love these products. And these are all present in the NIKEN Wellness Home. So what is a NIKEN Wellness Home? Basically, it transforms your living space into a safe haven, a place not only that supports better health and energy, but promotes balance and well-being. How does NIKEN accomplish this? Pretty cool the way NIKEN accomplishes this, and they've been doing this since 1975. It's called biomimicry, and biomimicry is basically using science and technology to replicate nature. And most health professionals and scientists agree that this process or this biomimicry will become more and more prevalent in the future. And I think it will, because we all know what Mother Nature knows best, right? So let's try to replicate that. So the NIKEN Wellness Home is the most logical and effective prevention-focused healthcare system, self-care system in the world. And I stand behind that 100%, 1,000%. So what am I actually really saying here? Like when I first started, I said, this is really about some common sense. So what I'm saying is that if you enjoy the benefits of modern living, and I think we all do, right? Indoor plumbing. Who doesn't enjoy indoor plumbing, all right? Electricity, heating and air conditioning, the internet, cell phones. If we all enjoy this technology, then really we need to use technology like biomimicry to counteract the side effects of these technologies, if that makes sense to you. I mean, if you look at chronic issues globally, any place in the world where you go, where industrialization, urbanization, globalization has taken place, any place in the world you go, what happens? Chronic disease follows. So again, very common sense. Let's provide these vital elements the way nature intended. So self-care and NIKEN Active Wellness Home products provide an integrated approach to being healthy by choice. And join us in our motto of every home a wellness home. Just like Ruben said, if you haven't started your wellness home yet, get back with the person who invited you and get started. We got some great promotions going on this month. Maybe Ruben will talk a little bit that when we're done. So again, I invite you to be part of our wonderful global wellness community. And for more information, contact the person that invited you to this evening's weekly gathering. So with that, Ruben, I'm going to stop share and turn it back over to you. If I can get there to do that. There we go.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Excellent presentation, Dr. Lindner. And as you mentioned, this month, remember we have like a really nice special on the KENKO air purifier, almost 45% discount if you share it through the Yes My Wellness Home for customers only. So this is really good. You just go to back office, Yes My Wellness Business, you share the link, and this is a great special that we have on the KENKO air purifier. And as well, as you can see, the whole month we have replacement filters campaign. So everything is 20% off, including the HEPA filter. So it's a great deal. So
stock up. It's a great
yes,
time to
now that
stock
it's
up.
20% off, you know, why not?
Yeah.
So
I know we
yeah.
do. So, yeah.
Yeah. So and this is to you know, so all the units, all the investment you have, so it can work properly, you know, optimal performance. So we need those replacement filters. And next Tuesday, we have Balanced Life, Happy Life with Dr. Gary Lindner. And
Boy, people would be tired of hearing from me, Ruben.
No, of
2
course
weeks
not.
in a row.
So it will be Sleep Matters. So we invite everyone to join us next Tuesday.
And I might add, it's a new presentation that Heather and I put together. So tune in next week. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be great. And great that Dr. Lindner will be there for us next Tuesday with this great presentation, Sleep Matters. So thank you very much. So we'll see you next Tuesday, and have a great evening and enjoy this week. So see you next time, next Tuesday. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Gary Lindner.